Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's first and number one English fluency guide, and in this video I want to talk about a problem that a lot of people have when they're trying to learn and they think, I can't get fluent or I can't speak fluently, I can't communicate with people because I don't know enough words. So a lot of people struggle with how do I express myself even if I don't have a large vocabulary. So there are lots of maybe specific problems about that, but I just want to talk about this problem here first, about not knowing enough words. Now I want to keep this really a quick, short video. I don't have much time to do it, but hopefully I make it a powerful video, an informative video for you. Now there's really something important to think about this first, and this is the difference between speaking fluently and knowing a lot of words. These are actually two separate things, and that's the most important thing you should remember from this video. So it's not like you need to know a bunch of words and then you can speak fluently. These are actually two different things. So I could speak fluently with 5 words. It just means I can use them without thinking, and that's being able to speak fluently within that vocabulary, even if it is really small. But you could have somebody like maybe you right now, you are watching this video and you know like tons of words. Like a lot of people actually I meet know way more Japanese words than I do. They've taken, tests and they've gotten to much higher levels. They know more Japanese written characters. They know more vocabulary than I do, but they're too nervous about speaking. So they don't actually say anything. So me, on the other hand, I focus on the opposite, which is how can I actually develop fluency with a smaller number of things? So I focus on that. So you want to really develop fluency as a skill by itself so that you can get more vocabulary words and start to add that into your vocabulary, your active vocabulary. And this just means these are things that you can use without thinking. And that's really what fluency is. It's not about knowing a lot of words because, again, lots of people maybe can understand this video, but they actually can't speak. So you might know the words, but being able to use the words is a different story. So that first thing, instead of worrying about a vocabulary first, think about how can I use the vocabulary I already have, even a limited vocabulary, and use that fluently. And really the only way to do that is just to practice. And again, it's about taking things, as I've shown in a couple of recent videos, the way to practice things and develop fluency is where you take a word or phrase and begin kind of playing with that language. So as an example, I might say something like, today is hot. Or I could say today is really hot. Or I could say yesterday was hot. Or he thinks today is hot. She thinks today is hot. All I'm doing, I'm taking a limited vocabulary of just a few words and I'm changing them around to make different sentences. And it's actually surprising how little vocabulary you actually need. People might know a huge number of words, but really the active vocabulary that people are using is really quite limited. Maybe 5-10% of their actual vocabulary they use in, their everyday life. Think about how many words maybe if, like people in college, all the words you learn for every subject. I mean, you don't use that most of the time when you're just talking with people. You talk about the weather, you talk about relationships, you talk about food, basic things like that. And so you don't need all that vocabulary. So kind of the first thing to do is, even if you don't know many words, learn to use the words that you do know fluently, and then just make some different sentences that you can use and interchange those kinds of things. The last point I'll make about this is that when I teach things like phrasal verbs, like I do in our visual guide to phrasal verbs, what I'm really showing you how to do is how to play with the language, and it's almost like using Lego bricks or other things like that, where you're taking a few pieces of something, like a few simple words, and putting them together in different ways in order to produce, new things and explain more situations than you would if you had a really large vocabulary. So as an English learner, if I were learning the language, really I would focus mostly on phrasal verbs because this is exactly the same way children learn. Like I'm teaching my daughter, I'm saying, okay, pick up. Or if I want to say, hey, pick something out. Like I'm explaining to her, okay, we've got like pick, up, and out. But we can make, 3 different things from these 3 different words. So I could say you can choose some clothing, you can pick some clothing, or you can pick out something. Like you can pick out this thing, or you can pick up pick something up. So she's learning that and thinking, okay, like I can develop a sense for maybe it's a verb and then like an adverb or something, or an adjective or a noun or something, maybe I can combine these in different ways in order to explain different things. And this is why children, they really start developing their own fluency by making not necessarily errors or whatever. They're not trying to do that, but this is why children often make mistakes with like irregular verbs, because they're saying, I goed to the park instead of I went to the park. So they're using that same knowledge of how it works, and they're trying that. But when they discover, okay, it doesn't really work that way, that's when they think, okay, they're getting corrected by a parent. So we say, it's not you goed to the park, you went to the park, that kind of thing. So instead of worrying about having a large vocabulary, think about the words you know and start practicing using these, mixing and matching these in different ways. And that's what's going to help you build a huge vocabulary quickly. But first, you need fluency. So start using these things and start practicing them until you can use them automatically. And that's what's going to help you become a much more confident, fluent speaker. Well, that's it for this video. I've just snuck in this video right before time is up. I'm in the studio right now and had a whole bunch of things I needed to record. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, click that like button, become a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and most importantly, if you'd like to learn more about developing a large vocabulary and about developing fluency, click on the link in this video to learn more by taking our free fluency quiz. You can take that and tell us exactly what you're struggling with, whether it's maybe you don't know enough words or you don't know how to use them fluently, or it could be some other problem related to that. But we have solutions waiting for you, and they're absolutely free at EnglishAnyone.com. So click on the link in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.